I tried yoga for 30 days. Here's what happened. Have you ever thought about starting yoga but weren't sure if it was really worth the effort? Maybe you've heard all the benefits, but you're not convinced that it can truly make a difference in your life. Well, I decided to take the plunge and commit to 30 days of yoga to see exactly what kind of changes would happen, both physically and mentally. In this video, I'm going to share my personal journey of trying yoga for a full month, the challenges I faced, and the surprising benefits I didn't expect. Stick around until the end because I'll also share the key takeaway that will make you want to roll out your mat and give yoga a try too. Day 1. The challenge of starting. When I first rolled out my yoga mat on day 1, I had no idea what to expect. Sure, I had seen plenty of people do yoga and heard all about the calming benefits, but this was my first time really committing to it. I was a bit nervous. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to keep up with the poses or if I'd be able to stick with it for 30 days. The first session was eye-opening. The stretches were harder than I anticipated, and I definitely wasn't as flexible as I thought I'd be. But there was something really calming about the slow pace of yoga. I wasn't in a rush to get anywhere. I was simply focusing on my breath and my body, and that felt really refreshing. However, I quickly realized that yoga is not just about the physical poses, it's about mindfulness. And that's something I struggled with a bit in the beginning. My mind kept wandering, and I had a hard time staying present. I found myself thinking about work, personal problems, and everything else going on in my life. Week 1. Getting into the groove. By the end of the first week, I was starting to notice some subtle changes. My body was beginning to adjust to the daily routine, and even though I wasn't flexible yet, I felt my muscles loosening up after each session. I was starting to feel less tight, especially in my hips and back, which were areas I had previously struggled with due to sitting all day. The most noticeable thing was that I was sleeping better. For the first time in a long while, I was falling asleep faster and waking up feeling more rested. It was clear that the focus on breathing and mindfulness was having a calming effect on me, which I hadn't fully expected. Even though I was only a week in, I started looking forward to my yoga practice each morning. I began to enjoy the quiet time I had with myself, something I didn't realize I was missing. I didn't just feel physically better, I felt mentally clearer as well. The stress of the day-to-day didn't seem as overwhelming as before. I started to notice some positive shifts beyond just physical benefits. I felt less anxious and more grounded. The simple act of sitting in a pose, focusing on my breath, and being in the moment was incredibly refreshing. I wasn't thinking about what I had to do next or what I hadn't done yesterday. It was just me, my mat, and the present moment. Week 2. Building strength and endurance. By week 2, I started feeling a real difference in my physical strength. I could hold poses for longer without feeling as shaky, and I noticed that my balance was improving. As someone who had never really worked out consistently, this was a big deal. Yoga was giving me a sense of strength that didn't come from traditional workouts, but from control over my body and breath. I found myself becoming more conscious of my body throughout the day, too. Simple things like standing up straight or sitting with better posture started to come naturally. This was a huge win for me, as I had always struggled with posture due to hours spent sitting at a desk. One of the most surprising parts of week 2 was realizing how much yoga was affecting my mental state. I felt more in control of my emotions and reactions. Yoga's mindfulness aspect helped me deal with stress more effectively. I noticed that I wasn't as easily irritated or overwhelmed by the little things that usually set me off. One example that stood out was a situation at work that usually would have stressed me out. But because I had been practicing deep breathing techniques, I managed to stay calm and collected. It was incredible to see how yoga's focus on breath control extended beyond the mat and into my everyday life. Week 3. Dealing with the struggles. While yoga was feeling more natural by now, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were definitely times during the third week where I hit a mental block. Some days, I didn't feel motivated to practice. I found myself trying to skip poses or rush through my routine because I was busy or tired. But one thing yoga teaches you is patience, both with your body and your mind. Instead of beating myself up for missing a session or not performing a pose perfectly, I learned to embrace where I was in my practice. Yoga isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up and doing your best. This mentality helped me keep going even on the tough days. The mental and emotional benefits of yoga became more apparent during week 3. I realized that yoga wasn't just helping me stretch and strengthen my body, it was helping me release built-up tension and stress in ways I hadn't expected. Some poses would leave me feeling overwhelmed with emotion, and instead of pushing it away, I allowed myself to feel what came up. It was like yoga was unlocking feelings that I had stored in my body for years. I also began to notice some subtle shifts in how I was interacting with people. I was more present in conversations, listening more deeply, and responding with more patience. Yoga had taught me the power of being in the moment, and that extended to my relationships. Week 4. Seeing the benefits by week 4, the benefits of yoga were undeniable. Physically, I was stronger, more flexible, and more balanced than when I started. I could do poses that I never thought I'd be able to do. My hips felt open, my shoulders no longer ached, and my body was leaner and more toned. But what really stood out to me was how much more at peace I felt. Yoga had become a tool for me to manage stress, stay grounded, and stay present in the moment. The mindfulness I had developed over the course of the 30 days had helped me become more aware of my thoughts and emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively to stressors, I found myself able to pause, breathe, and approach situations with a clearer mind. I also felt a deeper connection to my body. I had always been someone who saw exercise as a chore, something I had to do to stay healthy or fit. But yoga had changed that perspective. I now saw my body as something to be appreciated and cared for, not just a machine that needed to be worked out. Another benefit that became clear during week 4 was my emotional stability. I had always been an emotional person, quick to react to the stresses and pressures of daily life. But yoga taught me to take a step back, breathe, and find stillness. This led to a greater sense of emotional balance and allowed me to approach my challenges with a clearer head. What I learned after 30 days after practicing yoga for 30 days, I can confidently say that it changed my life. The physical benefits were obvious: improved strength, flexibility, and posture. But the real transformation happened on a deeper level. Yoga has taught me to slow down, breathe, and appreciate the present moment. Conclusion. So, after 30 days of yoga, I can honestly say that it's made a huge difference in my life. Whether you're looking to improve your physical health, reduce stress, or find a way to reconnect with yourself, yoga has the power to help. If you've been thinking about trying it, I encourage you to give it a go. Start small, be patient with yourself, and see where this practice can take you. It might just change your life in ways you never imagined. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, share it with a friend who might be considering yoga, and subscribe to the channel for more health and wellness tips.